he seems really cool.
I'm gonna run right up on him. I'm gonna make.
He's absolutely right. With that being said, of course, then he has to deal with the mail, but this mail it's as if it wasn't there because it's virtually useless.
All right, let's take it. Well, after seeing those results, I would say that ye old boomstick would definitely be effective against a knight. And on top of that,
Oh no, please don't draw conclusions, sir. I like you. Okay, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be, I was going to say I'm not trying to be condescending or obnoxious, but that's my second nature, so there's nothing I can do about it. I just embrace it. But no, you can't draw conclusions because the armor does not represent... Hey, Noble Ones, it's a little late at night, but I found the video and I've got to watch it. Also because I think you're gonna enjoy it, and perhaps some of you, in other words, those among you that probably require professional help, are going to enjoy the fact that I'm gonna get pedantic at the headphones. Kentucky Ballistics, really fun channel, and they made a video called Ye Old Medieval Boomstick, the original hand cannon. Well, we need to check this out, don't we? I hope I don't get like demonetized and whatnot.
this is about as old school as it gets when it comes to a boom. This is about as old school as it gets when it comes to a boomstick.
He's absolutely right. Well, actually, I can think of a couple of models that might even be older than that, to be honest, but yeah.
Have an 8-bore barrel, and as you can see here, it says ye old boomstick. We are loaded up with a 900 grain lead ball that is 8-bore and a modest amount of black powder. Let's see what happens.
See, that's a matchlock because it has a match. Then after that, they make flintlocks with the flint. Lots of the whole evolution of... I'll tell you a few things that are interesting about firearms.
Oh, that does not look good.
Man, these guys are fun.
What's up, everybody? My name is Scott, and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics. And last year, we moved out to the new range, and I absolutely love it. But there's some things about the old range that I miss, and I think that you miss them too. So I decided to bring the old range to the new range. This is 103 railroad ties, and I am very excited about our new berm, old berm, new berm.
Huh.
Now, I'm also very excited about the first video of 2000.
Oh, well, I'm not excited about that armor, but I'll try not to be. I'll try to be respectful. I'll try to be respectful to the content creators. But you all know what I'm thinking right now, don't you? I mean, I guess the reference to For Honor for the helmet, we all appreciate. Oh gosh, that's galvanized. That's galvanized butted nail, and the breastplate is $50.
2025. We are in the future, folks. But today we're going to be talking about some medieval technology. So way back when, and
nice. When are you bringing it in? That was cheeky of me.
the old days, there were these guys called knights. And I can only imagine what it was like the first time a knight walked into the battlefield. What a bunch of losers. Well, it's some...
You know what's funny? If you look at that, you can already see that with these very light hits, clearly... I don't know, what do you think it is? Do you think it's mild steel? How about we do a little poll here? Is it mild steel? Is it stainless? Is it aluminium? I'm gonna do a poll. I'm doing a poll. /poll. How about that? Question. What type of metal is this, you Muppets? Mild steel? Tin? Aluminium? Stainless? Any other suggestions? Cardboard? Plastic? Yeah, that's not titanium. That does not look like titanium. Look at this bowl. I need to show the beauty of this bowl. What type of metal is this, you Muppets? I'm gonna put my vote. I know what it's not. Medium carbon steel, heat treated and normalized. I know it's not that. Yeah. Vote for this. Well, you have fun with that. I'm gonna have fun with this. But I'm not here to make fun of anyone. They're having fun. Okay, they're having fun. And fun is great.
What a bunch of losers! Well, at some point, somebody got really tired of battling medieval juggernauts and decided to make ye old boomstick. And as far as I know, this is about as old school as it gets when it comes to a boomstick. So basically what we have here today is a medieval hand cannon, but this is a modern reproduction. You have a very large piece of wood here, a literal stick, and then
I wonder what type of wood. What type of wood do you think they're gonna use? Probably ash, because ash was very common in the medieval period for making, for instance, the handle of a mace, the handle of a warhammer. They used that a lot. One of the reasons being that in the medieval period, ash was actually harder, denser. But it's not the only one. It could be oak, could be, my money's on ash.
Then you have an 8-bore barrel, and as you can see here, it says Ye Olde Boomstick.
We appreciate that.
So as you can imagine, back in the medieval days, they did not have brass casings, primers, or anything fancy like that. All they had was black powder. So once this thing was loaded up, your only option to get this to fire was either to take a little stick you had lit and touch it to your breech, or you could be fancy like me, and I have a little handle here that is equipped with some slow burning fuse, and then you hit this,
boom,
it will touch it to that tiny little hole and hopefully ignite your black powder. Now, if you did actually manage to ignite your powder and you did finally fire off a shot, you're pretty much just left with a giant club after that. There's no way you're gonna be able to reload this thing on the battlefield.
Why not, though? I don't understand why he said that. I mean, if you could load it once, why would you not load it again if it's a specialized unit of gunners and they've got coverage? Like, I don't know if he means that technically it cannot be reloaded, but that's, I mean, doesn't make any sense. Or if he means you shoot, but then the enemy is upon you. That is a tactical discussion that we could have. Maybe I'm looking too deeply into it.
So some of them came equipped with a large spike so you could somewhat defend yourself after totally missing your shot. So would this medieval boomstick actually be able to take out a knight? Well, as you can imagine, I had some trouble finding a knight, so today we have a stand-in. This is a ballistic dummy lab zombie torso, and we have him equipped with some knight armor. We have a breastplate. I have a chain.
Of course, I mean, the video does have 1 million views. Perhaps he will say it, but just for those who are not familiar with how actual medieval armor works, this is not a good representation of the armor of a knight. We all know that. And not to mention, some armor was bulletproof, right? In the sense that they would shoot it before they gave it to a knight, and it left a little mark to show that it couldn't get penetrated from a arquebus ball, and then the knight pays for it with the extra money that that's how we say it's proof. There is proof that the bullet is not going to go through. As you can see, I mean, he's going to zoom in, I imagine, on the mail, but you'll see that apart from the fact that this is either aluminium or galvanized steel, the reason why it looks like a freaking lamp post, so the color is very bright. Probably galvanized, I imagine. I mean, if it's aluminium, this thing is going to break just by pulling it. Just by pulling it. If it is steel that has been galvanized, and the reason why you galvanize it is because that way it becomes rust proof. It's one way to achieve that, modernly of course. In the medieval period, to deal with that, either you oil it, or what you would do is, medieval people and even the Romans sometimes would tin stuff. And when I say tin, it doesn't mean that the armor is made of tin. It just means that the armor is made of steel or iron, but then you cover it in liquid tin, and then when it dries, it sort of avoids, but my Roman armor is completely tinned, and so are the plates inside my brigandine. Mail usually is not a big deal when it comes to rust, because as long as you use it, take it off, put it on, walk with it, the rings, touch each other, and that prevents deformation. That's the problem here, is that it's butted. Butted meaning that the rings are actually touching, they have a cut, and the rings are touching, and they're held together only by the strength of the steel or aluminium. Which means this, you can go through this with a kitchen knife. Okay, you can go through this because real mail is either fully riveted, so every single ring is being closed up with a rivet, meaning a small little nail. I think most of you know this, but I'm just saying for the people that don't. Or alternatively, another thing that they did was to have solid rings and alternate them in patterns with riveted rings, so that the solid one, then you have the riveted and connect, and so you create a mesh that is a lot, I'm talking 10 times stronger, and that's the real deal. Anyway, so all of that was impressive, but you know what else is impressive? My appetite right now. In fact, I'm just going to go cook dinner, and I'm going to take you with me. What am I making? I'm glad you asked. Well, I'm making one of the incredible meals sent to me by HelloFresh, the sponsor of this video. We got a box to open. So as you can see, we got a few boxes for this sponsorship, plus all of the other meals I have in my fridge already from my personal subscription. Because yeah, that's right. I'm not in one of those situations where, oh, maybe you never use the product, but now you do because of the sponsors. No, sir. I've been using HelloFresh for over 5 years. In fact, my wife and I love it. And to us, it's a little bit of a couple's activity, and it has been for years, even before we were married. So what are we making today?
Steaks. It's this one. Sizzling garlic herb butter steak.
That looks great. Let's go. Pepper. Okay, how are we doing?
It's good. I started early.
You started early, didn't get the reaction, but it was a very nice, very happy reaction.
It was really good. Probably
Yeah.
like medium.
Bon appetit. Let's stop to your dinner. You know how they say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Well, absolutely. I agree, HelloFresh agrees, and that's why we get free breakfast for life. What that means practically is that you'll get a free breakfast item with all of your boxes, with each box for free. Now, of course, if you're a busy professional or you just have a lot on your hands, you might think, but would I have the time to keep up with the schedule of the deliveries of the subscription service? But the thing is that HelloFresh is very flexible and easily customizable depending on your needs. Not only that, but HelloFresh will match your preferences. Vegetarian, fit and wholesome, quick and easy. And imagine if you have just 1 week where you're so busy with work you just can't do it. It's fine, you can skip the week and then resume the shipping of the ingredients and the boxes as normal. And you do that by adjusting your delivery date. Very simple. Not to mention variety is another one of their fortes, with a menu with more than 50 dinner options. Alright, so what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and use my code METATRONJAN10 and get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you are in the US. Outside of the US, the local discount will apply. And massive thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring my video.
Mel shirt underneath it, and we have a helmet. And if you've never seen a Ballistic Dummy Lab zombie torso before, this thing has lifelike flesh, bones, organs, and has been zombified with green blood.
So basically the torso is more accurate than the armor.
Now, let's get this guy all suited back up again and see what happens. Before we blast our night, we're just gonna take a shot.
Yes.
With the old boomstick.
Let's
and
go.
I have to admit, I'm, well, a little nervous. My neck scar is itching just slightly.
I appreciate that he's got glasses. I think these are protective glasses.
I really don't know why it would be. I mean, it's not like it's a pipe on a stick filled with black powder or anything.
Also, when it comes to the plates, this is obviously, again, cheap, made in India. For some reason, someone told me that if I specify that usually cheap medieval armor is made in India, it's racist. I don't know how a fact is racist. I mean, and it's not like I'm mad with the Indians for providing cheap armor for those people who enjoy it and maybe don't have the money to buy expensive armor reproductions like the ones I have. And the only reason why I can have it because I can write it off as a YouTuber. So no, I'm grateful that the Indians provide an option that is cheap, but it's important to remember that it's not good for historical reenactment or for testing. That's all I'm saying. You don't know if it's made in India, it's always made in India. Try and buy it, it's always made in India. It's like, yeah, and you could tell this is cheap. Let's just say this. In case the 1% chance that I'm wrong, and this was actually made in, I don't know where, honestly, whatever, then it's still cheap. The metal is not the same, the thickness is not the same, the way it's made is not the same, and it's just not a representation of real medieval armor. And yeah, so just let's keep that in mind. It's for fun. We're watching it for fun, but what happens to this man in armor wouldn't have happened to a medieval knight with proper armor, particularly if it's a nobleman who has expensive hit-treated armor.
It's gonna be great. Anyways, we are loaded up with a 900 grain lead ball, that is 8 bore, and a modest amount of black powder. Let's see what happens.
I mean, yeah, it could fail. That's one thing that could happen. It's gonna shoot, sorry. It could fail, or, I mean, it could blow up. It's not like it's impossible, I believe. So I'm glad that he has got some sturdy gloves.
Okay, I got my fuse
Never
lit.
know.
Here we go.
There is also a delay. between, yeah, when you ignite and when you shoot. Nice. Boom. The face on the man is priceless. Boom. Eh? Yeah, I mean, that thing packed a punch. That's the expression. That thing punch. I don't know why it's difficult to say. Packed a punch.
Ow! I'm going to go ahead and say that is much more exhilarating than a modern firearm.
Really?
Wow, that was really something.
I love that the guy's enjoying himself, by the way. I love it. He seems really cool.
Let's go blast our knight.
Yeah.
I am loaded up with another 900 grain lead ball, and now we're going to see what would happen if I were to encounter a knight.
Yeah, it went through. It went through. Did it?
Oh!
Trampire says he was severely injured when a gun he shot blew up into his face. He still has a scar on his neck. Yeah, sorry to hear that.
That does not look good for that knight. Looks like I shot a little low. All right, let's have a look at our knight.
Yeah, it went through.
Right
it went
here,
through.
That's not looking good. You got a little bit of green liquid coming out. That's never a good sign. I did hit a little low. It's not exactly easy to aim with a stick.
No, actually, I think he did pretty well center of mass, I suppose. Although then again, on the knight, this is the area where you wouldn't want it, because he hit the knight on the placard. What this means is that in this case, you have to imagine that the breastplate ends here, right? Right at his natural waist above the navel. What this means is that this bullet only had to go through one layer of plate. If he had hit center of mass, then he would have had to go through two, which is the design, how it's supposed to be. With that being said, of course, then he has to deal with the mail, but this mail it's as if it wasn't there because it's virtually useless. But what we see here is that, yes, it went through. Would it go through a real medieval plate armor? I would say no, but most likely there is a lot of variety on a medieval battlefield. If it was on the cheaper end, maybe someone who was even using iron, which sometimes is a thing, or mild steel, maybe, but then again, he was relatively close, although then again, usually firearms, gunners, when they are dealing with knights, they're instructed to shoot at point blank. I'll tell you more about that in a second, but let's see if it went all the way through to the other side.
Remove the breastplate. Ah, yes, we blew right through that.
Yep.
Very, very nice, clean hole.
Yeah, you see what I was telling you? Look. You can tell that there is a certain level of overlap between the placard and the breastplate, which is in the center of mass. This is cut in a weird way, by the way, because this is made cheaply. But the area of overlap is precisely where, for instance, a crossbow or a longbow arrow or early firearms might have hit you. But no crossbowman, no archer, no trained gunner would have tried to hit center of mass on a knight, because it would be pointless.
Very nice clean hole through the back of that, and it looks like we also made it through the chainmail.
Yep. Yeah, it's shattered.
Look at that. That's a pretty big hole right there. And then entered him right there.
You could probably do that with your hands, mate.
So now I'm wondering how far in did it go? It doesn't look like it went super deep. Some little pieces of it.
Operating, surgeon.
There's chainmail in there. Wow.
Yep.
I mean, it's a pretty deep hole. It looks like the ball is right there and stopped right at the zombie's spine. All in all, I would say that was a...
Greg, Metatron Germany, have you ever seen the French chest plate from the Waterloo with the cannonball hole in the middle? Scary as hell. Yes, I have. It's not in the middle. It's slightly to the side. I think it went through his lung and went out to the other side. It was a cannonball. Yeah, exactly. I remember that. I'll show it in a minute. But yeah, that is insane. We'll check it out.
Pretty successful shot. But I want to take one more shot with that lead ball in this area, and I'm going to scoot up just a little closer. Because, I mean, most likely, if I was on the battlefield, I'm going to run right up on him. I'm going to make...
He's absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's the sources I wanted to mention. Yes, there is a period source that says if you are trying to shoot at night, you need to take the muzzle of your firearm, whether it be a single-shot pistol or whether it be something like that, and you need to touch the breastplate or touch the visor of the knight, and then you shoot. Isn't that insane? Which tells you if you try and shoot the knight from even the distance where he was or further away, it's not going to go through, and then the knight is onto you. So it's saying it's basically against a full-plated knight, particularly someone with high-quality armor, it becomes a point-blank weapon. Because otherwise, it's unless you get like a crazy super lucky shot that goes through mail because the guy maybe was lifting his arm for whatever reason and you got him underneath. All right. But if that's not the case...
Sure, I do not miss with my one and only shot.
Nice. Man, that's fun.
Oh my God. Could you imagine being the first person to see someone run up with this on the battlefield? Sir Thomas just went down. He had the power of a dragon. He must have been a wizard.
Yeah, that's a fun way to look at it, but medieval people were absolutely familiar with black powder and all that. But yeah, sure, I mean, seeing it in action, he does have a point. Boom. Boom. Now imagine if they shoot 150 of these at the same time, roughly speaking.
You definitely want ye old safety glasses on.
Yep.
That thing throws a lot of debris in the air when it goes off.
I always like the way Americans pronounce that word, debris. I would say debris. There is a lot of debris. But I actually like debris more. It's just that I'm used to say debris because that's how I learnt it. I've always said debris. But I actually like debris more. Maybe I could switch. Why not? I mean, I did marry an American. Does that give me like, can I say debris now? What do you guys say? Should I do a poll? I'm going to do a poll. By the way, let's see the previous poll. Ooh, interesting. The previous poll got a draw between stainless steel and mild steel. Well, guys, I think it's mild steel. I don't think this is stainless, because usually stainless has a bit of a chrome look to it, because they add that. Bowl. Let's bowl. Can I pronounce it? The debris. How the heck do you spell it? S. That's the S. All right. Can I pronounce it as the American way? Let's see. Yes. No. Start poll. Let's do it. Boom. Let's go.
Shoo-wee. Okay, well, we had a good hit, obviously. I was like 2 feet from him.
Yep.
Let's take a look. That definitely doesn't look good. I mean, that's a solid hole there. I'm pretty sure.
What's that not is, that's not a solid plate, but yeah.
Yeah, I can get my whole thumb in there.
Right.
Now pulling it out's the problem. Oh, no, it's a trap. It's just like the movie Saw. All right, let's take a look. But before we do, if you are enjoying this video,
absolutely,
do yourself a big favor and hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, let me give it a thank you. I'll give him a like.
Oh, that's not looking good.
No.
Okay, so again, we have a really nice, clean hole. Just, I'll just sit that right there. And our chainmail got chewed up. That is pretty bad.
You know, sir, I would be so happy to provide free of charge advice for you to get some proper chainmail and do this again, but this time with actual. Oh, that would be really nice. I'm just saying, Mr. What's his name? Kentucky Ballistics. If you want, be happy to provide some names. I can give you some names, and you could do this with some good armor that actually represents the Middle Ages where I'm from, in my country. back in America, in Italy, or in England, or in France, or in Spain, or anywhere else. More than happy to give a name.
So as you can see there, some of it actually went inside him. I don't even know what that is. What's this? I don't even know what that is.
That's gross.
It's a piece of our what? Oh, no, that's bone. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
it went all the way through. It doesn't surprise me, honestly.
Looks like we made it all the way through him, and the brick stopped it. I believe this is our bullet right here. Oh, it is.
You see, if the knight had worn a brick, he would be alive.
Look at that. It is dangling off of the chainmail. It is smushed into it. Look at that. It smushed it in there. That is crazy. So that one, that thing was really moving. I mean, we blew all the way through him. Yeah, I don't know if you'd get up from that one. Okie dokie. Well, after seeing those results, I would say that ye old boomstick would definitely be effective against a knight. And on top of that...
Oh, no, please don't draw conclusions, sir. I like you. Okay, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be... I was going to say I'm not trying to be condescending or obnoxious, but that's my second nature, so there's nothing I can do about it. I just embrace it. But no, you can't draw conclusions because the armor does not represent in any way, shape or form what my ancestors were wearing. So, no conclusions can be drawn.
That, something that I'm realizing, this chainmail right here would actually work against you. It seems to be dragging those pieces inside him. So you're actually getting more metal and more shrapnel pulled in you than you would have if you weren't wearing this extra protective layer. So we've hit...
Because it's not the correct one. I mean, there is always a risk, of course. I don't want to be too pedantic. Just a little pedantic. Let me be a little pedantic. And if you don't wear the armor, you would be... you would be vulnerable to anything. They could throw a rock at you. They could stab you to death. They could cut you with blades. They could cut you pieces with axes. With a mace to the head without a helmet, you're out in one hit. So, So these are all the advantages of wearing armor. The only disadvantage, even if this was correct, and it's not, but even if it was correct, the only disadvantage would be, yes, but if a gunner hits you from really close, some of that mail could get inside you. But who cares, because you're getting this big of a ball inside you anyways, so that's really the least of my problems. I'd rather get protected from anything else, even if that were the case. But in reality, we don't know if that's the case, because that mail does not represent the sort of mail armor that was worn at least by the upper echelons. One moment, I'm getting a phone call. Pretty late at night, I wonder who it is. Be right back. Hey there, long time no see, sorry about that. It was the wife. She woke up, so she's still there. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm sick because she didn't see me in bed. She thought something could have happened. But nothing happened. She worries. Yeah, so as I was saying, with a real good mail, we don't know if that would have stopped it. And then with the breastplate on top, I think it would have.
Mr. Zombie Knight with one large solid lead ball. But now I want to know what happens when we hit him with several smaller lead balls, also known as ye old buckshot. Now this right here is a double-aught buck pellet. And typically in a 12-gauge shotgun, you would hold 9 of them.
Okay, so he's gonna do a second test, and as you know, when I do my reacts, I don't react to the whole thing because I want people to have a reason to, click and go give him the view and perhaps engage, give him if you liked what you saw, comment and whatnot. If any of you wants to go and correct some of the things, feel free to do it, but let's not be impolite. I mean, the guy is not a specialist of medieval stuff. Of course, I would prefer that he didn't draw conclusions, though. It's fine if you do it for entertainment, but with this kind of massive 4 million, almost 5 million, 1 million, and then you misinform at that point. So it's easy. Just keep it. My suggestion would be, it's not my channel, so you can do whatever he wants, but my suggestion would be, instead of drawing conclusions that are not scientific and they're not in any way, shape or form correct, because you didn't get the equipment that is the right one to make to draw those conclusions, I would avoid doing that and just do it for fun. Say, hey guys, this is not a great representation of an armor, but it's here for fun, we're having fun, and then you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can always do whatever you want, it's a free country, but you know what I mean. Anyways, in order to encourage people to go watch the rest. I'm not gonna, I think it's gonna shoot him in the head. I'm not gonna react to the rest, and but I enjoyed watching this anyways. I had fun. It's just that I'm pedantic like that, so unfortunately I get lost in the details. That's just Tuesday for me. But yeah, so thank you for watching. I will be adding Noble Ones because I'm gonna go to bed, but I am gonna add, when I edit this up tomorrow, I'm gonna find those sources that I mentioned, and then I'm gonna add some iconography so that it will be a more complete video reaction the way I think it looks better, also because it is a little late. But I'm going to be doing that, and I'll possibly post it tomorrow if I can. If it's not too late, I'll post it tomorrow, otherwise the day after. But I think I can manage tomorrow. Raffaellus Pedanticus, Metatron Pedanticus, that's me. Anyways, thank you so much for your support, as always. What did we get? Can I pronounce it? 90% yes, 10% no. It is debris then. Splendid. But all right, thank you. I hope you don't get too much debris in your life, and I will see you tomorrow for my next videos and for the next streams. Thank you very much. Good night, number ones. Buonanotte. Good night. Thank you for everything.